It is day 136, and yesterday I weighed in at 186 and a half, making progress each week. Today is Friday, and by the time you see this, it will be Monday, day 139. That's right, today is 136 days of the stay in place order. So this week, what I am sharing with you is something that I learned early in my training at the Gray Institute that the Gray Institute calls type 1 motion. We're going to use that for the lower back to help load the soft tissue of the muscles and explode to basically massage that area or tune it, because this is a tuning process that I'm taking you through. We're moving slightly up from the sacrum to the lower back. And I'm going to share with you a movement that I learned from the Gray Institute. Well, pretty much all of what I'm sharing the insight with is influenced or taught to me by the Gray Institute. The advantage of graduating from the Gray Institute is that they've taught me how to think through a problem based on three-dimensional space. So let's go ahead and get right into what we're going to talk about today, the lower back. Now, the Gray Institute calls what I'm about to show you type 1 motion. Now, remember, the objective of sharing this insight with you on this channel is not to actually teach you, but to share movements with you that you can execute and use to tune your own body. And if you look at the multiple videos, you'll be able to put together movements for yourself, different 3D stretching, and put together your own movement tune-up that you can do every morning. Now, if you need help in deciding what to do, then that's where I come in. You can just go ahead and hire me to work with you and help you develop your own personal tuning routine. But for today, let's go ahead and cover the type 1 motion. All right, first, let's break it down. Everything is going to be driven from the hips. So my hand is going to be the center line. Now, with applied functional science and the Gray Institute comes nomenclature. You may hear me at times use it. So today, my stance is in a pretty much neutral stance, and that is XXX. So if I happen to slip and just say XXX, I'm talking about my stance. So now let's go back into it. My hand is going to be right in the center here, and watch my hips, because this is the movement I'm sharing with you. Driving the hip, and notice my head stays in the same spot. Doesn't matter what side I go on. Now, I can turn my head towards the hip motion. I can keep it in the center, look down, or I can turn it away from the hip motion. And then also, I can let my head drop. Let it drop as I turn away. Let it drop as I look down. Actually dropping, looking down. Yeah, don't recommend that one. And I can drop it and turn away. Now, the next move, we're going to combine with the hip. We're going to use in this case, since I'm going to the right, I'm going to use my left arm to follow the hip. So, here we go. The arm follows the hip. The head keeps the eyes, using the eyes as the driver, secondary driver, following my thumb. Now I'm looking away from it, looking down, and I'm looking away from it now. Okay? So hip movement, arm movement. Now the third element will be my right arm. As my hip drives out, that arm reaches overhead. I can look down as I reach overhead. Look to the right, follow my hips as I reach overhead, and look away. Now the arm helps the loading process in the lower back. Hips going out creates a lengthening of the soft tissue, and the arms creates even more of a lengthening of the soft tissue. You have the hips and the sacrum all involved in the lower back. So let's put this routine together, or matrix together, and this is what it looks like. We start off and we drive our hip out. I'm looking straight. I can look down. This is good for golfers. And I use my eyes as a secondary driver to follow. And then I can look away. Okay, one more time. Okay, so that is what the Gray Institute calls type 1 motion. All right, hopefully you got a lot out of it, and make sure when you do this for yourself, you do both sides, because if you don't, you're going to feel kind of out of balance. This is a movement that I use throughout training, pretty much with all of my clients, to help with the lower back. So go ahead and add this to your tuning process. Highly recommend it. Monday morning, and if no one has let you know just of yet how much they appreciate you, then let me let you know that I appreciate you for taking the time to watch my video.